All righty. So, hello, everyone. Today I am here with Molly. Molly is a past client of mine, shall we say? Uh, Molly and I worked together last year, and here I just want to come in here and have a chat so you guys understand about her experience and what it is we do when I work with women. So I will never forget my original conversation with Molly. Actually, it was on a Saturday, and it was this is a woman who was so frazzled and just this is the sense I got anyway. It was just so all over the place. And I don't know if Molly, you remember this. You were actually at your in-laws and you'd forgotten your handbag and left your handbag at home.
Very symptomatic.
Yes. And I thought, wow, okay, so, and I mean, obviously, I'll let Molly tell you about these in her own words when we get to that. But for Molly, in terms of where we went to, it was from can't find my handbag, want to give up my job, to getting a promotion by the end of all that. So hers was quite dramatic, but so here goes. So Molly, tell us a bit about you and what you do, how many kids you have, how old they are.
Yeah. So I am a strategist in a marketing company, which is part of a much bigger group, and I work mainly in healthcare, but advising clients on different experience and communication strategies. And I have two little boys. One is 4, and one will be 2 in April. They are extremely active and very energetic, gorgeous, but exhausting at the same time. It's definitely a juggle between career and family.
It sure is. And I mean, when it comes to child rearing, I always see it in two parts. There's the physical part of it, which is where you are when they're young, before they hit teenage. That's when it's physical. And then when it hits teenage, it becomes emotional. Yeah. Okay. So, Molly, first of all, thank you for making the time to join us. And ladies, I'm not sure if you remember, I was actually originally supposed to speak to Molly. I think it was December or maybe even November last year. And then, before we knew it, she was in A&E with her son. So that is motherhood for you. This is what happens. Do you know? This is what happens in the juggle. So we had to reschedule, blah, blah, blah. And here we are after COVID. Molly got COVID, kids got COVID, everything happened. But she is still here. She's still rocking, and she is at work today. So just before we came live, we were talking about, the trip on the train and stuff like that. Which I can't imagine what happens on the train. I can't. Hey, Kim. Hello, Kim. I just saw Kim just posted in here. She says hello there. So, hey, Kim. Just saw that comment. Anyway, so Molly, tell me a little bit about your results. And by the way, Kim and Molly were in the program around the same time. That's why Kim is saying hey.
So I was saying it's like getting me back. Getting my life back. I am just much more positive, more confident, more assertive. I feel like I have control over my life, which I did not before. I recognize now or feel more capable, have more energy, just generally more optimistic about the future. Whereas, before it was a very different story.
Yeah, before we couldn't find your handbag. So so where were you when you found me?
I was completely overwhelmed really by life. I was completely exhausted and I felt like giving up and putting my head in the sand, and just sort of, just kind of wanted everything to go away or someone to tell me what to do. And for the first time ever, I found myself thinking, maybe I should just give up work, because then it would just be easier. There'd be less to think about. I wouldn't be pulled in so many different directions and feel like I was doing the worst job at everything. And I was just quite down quite a lot of the time, and my mood was really dependent on my husband. So if he was in a bad mood, it would just bring me down completely. And I was really struggling with my 4-year-old boy. Was just exhausted thinking about spending time with him, and we'd had quite a lot of sort of challenging times with him, and things like bedtimes and nap dropping and all that kind of stuff that comes with small children. But yeah, I was just in a complete victim state, and I just felt like I was also really boring, and that feeling like that took over it, and I hated it, but I didn't know what to do about it, and I felt a bit helpless, and I sort of either felt a bit angry and irritated with myself, or really sad about it, because I just didn't know what to do, but I didn't want that to be it for life. And I was just pretty miserable, but I don't think I didn't really tell anybody, and it would only really come out, and now, you know, with my husband, if we were having an argument about laundry or something yet again, you know.
Yeah, it always comes out with the laundry, right? It comes out with the laundry, but it is three things you said, I scribbled them down, as in you wanted everything to go away, and I so identify with that, because when you're there and you're in the overwhelm, sometimes it's hard to even express what it is you're feeling. You know, it's having the words, and when you find the words to express and people don't get it, you're like, why do I even bother? Right?
But why is it really that bad? Yeah. Other people have things worse. I shouldn't feel like this.
Right? So there's that guilt there, where people from the outside look at your life and they think it's perfect. What have you got to complain about? And then you're inside and you're drowning, right? And you kind of feel guilty even articulating what it is that you're feeling. And so then the only place you think you can let it out is when it comes to the laundry. So I so hear you. And it was interesting that you said about your mood being dependent on your husband's, because obviously one of the main things I teach in the program is about, you know, that ultimate accountability. You're responsible for how you feel, and so regardless of what is going on around the world and stuff like that, you needing to bring yourself back. And you saying that you thought you were boring.
Yeah, because I didn't have any, well, partly pandemic as well doesn't help, but I didn't feel like I had anything to talk about other than children, or how hard it was. And because my mind was so preoccupied with how hard everything was and how exhausted I was, you know, I wasn't keeping up with anything really in the news or culture or whatever. I didn't have anything to contribute to conversation, so I just felt really boring. And like, you know, I thought that maybe my friends were thinking I was boring, and not, not a good place.
And tell me a bit about you feeling like a victim.
I suppose it's, you know, that why is this happening to me kind of thing. Every time something didn't quite happen, or like, you know, you'd think you'd get an hour to yourself, and then whatever happens with the kids and you don't, and you think, oh God, why? You know, of course this has to happen. It's, you know, it's what always happens. I don't get to have time to myself. Or you know, so I actually was in A&E at some point last year again, and you know, like, why? So I was thinking, why? What did I do this time? What did I do wrong? Why is this happening to us again? You know, why are we the family that we know who are really struggling and exhausted, and everybody else is getting it right? So it was just very kind of very victim-y.
Yeah, I hear you. So tell me, why was it important to you to fix it? Whatever was going down with you, why was it important?
I didn't want to go on like that. It's exhausting to feel like that the whole time. There's no joy in life. You don't feel like carrying on. You don't want to go on like that for the next 40 years. And I can bear the idea of, you know, being old or getting to death's door and thinking, what on earth have I done with my life other than feel miserable and then look back with regret.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you've got a horrible life.
Yeah. And not to mention the sort of mother that you are when you're around the children, when you're in those states where you kind of feel helpless. Yeah.
I felt like I was being a bad parent. I wasn't, but I wasn't being as good as I could be.
Yeah.
I was so tired, and I was just easily irritated, and you know, probably a lot of the challenges that we were having with my eldest were because either both of us or me in particular were just too easy to get cross or irritated and weren't handling things in the best way.
Yeah.
So you know, it affects you both.
Yeah, because listen, when you're tired, everything is overwhelming, right? Or it's just everything is too much even before you started. So what had you tried before you joined the program?
Well, I love Google, so I Googled everything, whether it was, you know, how to increase confidence at work or confidence in general, or, you know, how to, you know, try and sort of get better at, you know, not getting cross with children. I'd done endless like stuff to do, like Googling about child behavior. We'd done emotion coaching workshops through the nursery. Everything, but everything I found was very theoretical. Nothing was very practical. It never left me with knowing what to do or just a way forward. And I had, through work, we have access to a sort of counselling, coaching-esque sort of service, more for sort of mental health support. And I'd been doing that monthly, and that was helpful to have someone to talk to, and lots of sort of teaching awareness and personal values and things that are very helpful, but not really with no practical action or output or how I could use it to help me do all the things that you did, basically.
And this is the interesting thing, because for me, when I was going through my challenges, and just for the people that are listening, it was like Molly said, there's lots of information out there, but it's even knowing where to focus your energy, because you the last thing you have is energy for starters, right? And you're overwhelmed, and all that information is kind of coming at you from different sources, and you're like, what do I do? And this is how come people end up buying one book after another, and then the books are sitting there staring at them. Because the information alone is not enough, really. And even knowing what to do is not enough. You need somebody to literally drag your ass over and make you do what you have to do and confront the fears you don't want to confront and all the rest of it, because it's only when you do it, is in the doing, that you actually get the wisdom and get the transformation that you want. And I guess is where the mindset work comes in, is getting that inspiration to do it. And also, because we do the group work, you see other people also, I guess, hustling, right, for their lives. So how did you find me?
I was on Instagram, and I tried, at this point, I tried not to be on Instagram much at all, but was on a rare scrolling binge, and your ad popped up, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but it definitely caught my attention. And I think either there was a short video in it, or it linked through to a video or something, and it was, I think it was promoting your free webinar. And doing what I do, I was like, oh yeah, I know this tactic, it's really good. You hook them in with something free, and then I was like, but hey, you know, it works and it's free, and maybe I'll learn something, and maybe I'll go somewhere, maybe I won't, but what's not to lose? So I did that, and then it was just so, it resonated so much. I was like, this is exactly my problem. This is what I need to do. And so then I booked the call with you, And we went from there.
So, and it's interesting because I talk to a lot of women. Some I can get over the fence, some I can't. What was the one thing I said to you that made you think, okay, I think I'm gonna take the jump?
I mean, a lot of it was that you obviously clearly had been through it, and that you knew exactly what someone like me was going through, and you had practical ways to fix it. It wasn't just, here's the information, it's this is how you use it, this is how you make your life better. You know, and that you'd obviously helped other people come out the other side as well. So yeah.
Did you think I was crazy? Did you think it was possible?
I mean, I thought there were probably going to be things that maybe I had never heard before and maybe wasn't sure about, but at that point I was just open to everything, and I was just so desperate to find something to work, and so hopeful it would work. I think mostly I was scared of, the only thing I was scared of it was that I wouldn't change coming out the back of it, really. Or that I wouldn't be able to do the things that I needed to do to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because for me, when I work with my women, I'm not giving them anything I haven't tried myself. And I've tried a whole lot of things. I have tried some weird stuff. Right? And it is just the things that worked for me, and the ones that I thought were the most impactful, I guess, are the ones that I pass on. And I'm one of those eternal students. I'm constantly still trying new things and finding ways to finesse it and make it easier for people to access it, and all the rest of it. And I mean, like the people that went through the program last year, what they're getting in some ways, it's a different focus, or what they got is a different focus from what I'm doing now, because everybody gets me a chance to, if you like, nuance it. So what happened for you right away after you joined the program?
So we started, I was on a trip up to see my family, and the most thing I was nervous about was not having the internet connection to be able to do the course. And I was being a very good student, really wanted to, do it on time, get the homework in on time, watch all the kind of thing. And I'd say I did struggle at the beginning, especially when we were away, getting through the videos, just because I was so knackered, and I was trying to watch it while my mum was making dinner one night and sort of semi-falling asleep. I was like, this is ridiculous, I don't have to do it today, I can stagger it. So but I really enjoyed watching the videos and content, and I really enjoyed the twice weekly sessions. It was really great to hear, like, at different stages of where they were in the course, like, where they'd come from, how things were changing for them, asking questions about things that were to come for me, and then also if I was asking questions, getting their advice and input as well as yours. And yeah, I suppose it was just making sure that I had the discipline to do it on top of the usual daily life stuff, but it's obviously worth it.
And at what point did you start noticing the hang on, something is changing here for me?
I think it was about maybe about halfway through. I sort of realized that I was just feeling more positive. I wasn't feeling so negative and victim-y, and just felt generally much better because I'd taken the step to actually do something, and I was learning how to do it, and I was already, you're already doing stuff from the first module, doing stuff that starts to help you. So yeah, you really feel the impact of it, and maybe you don't notice it straight away, but certainly by halfway through, you it's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually, because we got Kim watching this, because Kim was one of those that was ahead of you when you were there. And I would say to people, you really get what you put in there. And I'm not saying this because Kim was on here. Well, I didn't even know she was going to turn up, but she was one of those that really went for it. She threw herself into it, and went for it, and reached out when she needed help and everything like that. And I had no idea you would be one of those as well, because I actually know exactly when the switch happened for you, when you asked. No, when you actually said, because the breakfast, when we talk about nutrition, the breakfast that I recommend for you guys to have, and you were saying, oh yeah, because when I do that, I'm not hungry before lunchtime. And I thought, okay, she's actually doing it. Because what you were doing was bringing experiential stuff back into it. And I thought, okay, she's serious. That's what, for me, that's when I noticed that she's serious here. Yeah. And different people get their switches, at different times. And yes, I'm telling them to do stuff, and I'm telling them to do stuff, and you think they're doing it, and they're not doing it. And I know whether they're doing it or not from the questions they ask or not ask. Right? Somebody's sitting there not asking any questions. You just know that, they're not engaging half as much as they need to do. So tell me, what surprised you about the program?
I suppose at the beginning, it sounds like an odd thing to say, I wasn't surprised by a lot of it in terms of the content, because a lot of it was things I'd come across before but didn't know what to do with, and it tied it up and made just in such a great way. If anything, I suppose the surprising thing is how simple so much of it is, but how effective it is. Mm-hmm. And the way you package it is so easy to understand, doesn't contain all the sort of jargon that you get on other lots of internet sites, and you were very clear on exactly what needed to be done, and you don't let people think back and not do it, and so I guess it's how simple it is and how quick it is to feel the benefits of it, as long as you and as you said, you actually do it.
Yes, you do it and put the work in. And because the way I structure it like that. So you start off simple, and then it gets more, and I add more, and I layer and I layer and I layer. And normally people that think they can come in there and coast, it just ain't happening. I will not allow you to coast, because if I see that you're not engaging, we have to have that conversation about engaging. But for me, I'm always interested in terms of the view, because the view from the other side, right? Because I get one lens of it, because I'm putting in, and as a consumer, you have another kind of lens of it, as in what is going on, what you're being asked to do, will you do it, won't you do it, will you see the outcome? But I think it was about maybe halfway or 3/4 of the way through, I had to pause it for us to go and do sleep training, because I could see by what was going on, you were trying your best, but the children not sleeping through at that point was proving a distraction for you. So tell us a bit about the sleep training and what happened.
Yeah, so for the older one, he was waking up at night, usually because he'd leaked through his nighttime nappy, and needed bed changing. He would get very upset about it, and it needed to be calmed down quite a lot. So that was one thing. And then the younger one was just waking up very early, and that was just it was throwing me off quite a lot, because I wanted to be able to do that morning hour, or even at the beginning when it's not an hour, and I couldn't do that because I was being woken up so early that I didn't even have time to get up before the children to do all that, and then obviously fitting it in later was tricky. But when I spoke to Hayley, we kind of ran through with the younger one what the kind of sleep routine was and where we could tweak it, and also at that point it was clock change, so how to kind of try and cope better with the clock change, and talk through some of the things we could do to try and minimize the night waking, whether it was just the nappy leaking, whether it was other things, and we changed a few things around, and it helped a lot. The sort of she's waking up so early gradually kind of became not so late, or he would just be happier to be in his cot rather than screaming away.
Yeah.
And then with Toby, that kind of nighttime wake up and screaming stopped as soon as we made some changes with what we were giving him in the evening in terms of what he was drinking, like how much he was weighing at night and that kind of stuff. So instantly not having that kind of disrupted night plus an over early morning just made a big difference in terms of the energy that then feeds through into everything else, because and like saying the course, like energy is just sort of the foundation of everything, so sleep has to be good to allow you to focus on all the other bits.
Definitely. And so again, for those that are watching, I did actually do an interview with Hayley, my sleep expert. So if you want to see that interview, you can scroll down somewhere. It is in the group somewhere. But normally what I will do, so Molly's was an exception. So normally if I sense there's a sleep issue right at the start, it's something we fix. So we spend the first kind of 3 weeks in the program dealing with the sleep issue and fixing it before they start the core program. But the perils of motherhood, you really never know. I mean, I had one other woman that I had to pause because her children were sleep trained, but then suddenly one was being potty trained, and then everything went sideways. So we had to pause for her to go do the sleep training as well. So anyway, Molly, tell me, where are you today?
Trying hard to keep going with everything. I think, as I was saying to you just before we started this, I had a bit of a blip over Christmas with the various A&E trips, COVID, isolating children, being at home, all that kind of stuff. And definitely, I suppose falling off the wagon's not quite the right term, but like didn't keep up with some of the practices that I had been doing. And it makes such a noticeable difference. And I started, like really craving that routine again, and it just showed that like after the end of that Christmas period, I was so exhausted, and not back where I had been, but on the way. And so I just had to have a bit of a reset, but knew all the things that I needed to then restart doing, and already feel it's been a month now, but like feel so much better, and know what I've got to do to not let that happen again. And I'm just very conscious about the things that I need to do, that I have control over what I do, how I feel, what I say, how I react to everything. And my mood does not depend on my husband's mood. I can just be like, whatever. We don't argue about laundry anymore. He's we've talked about and agreed like splits of household stuff, so I no longer feel like everything's on me. I have much better boundaries in general. I have a much better relationship with my eldest and children in general. I feel like I'm a fun mum again. I feel like I have the energy to actually contribute meaningfully at work rather than just trying to get through that and get through parenting, and actually progress rather than exist. So it's not just stress survival anymore. It's it's good.
Fantastic.
It will be even better.
Fantastic. And this is it, because now you have the tools to navigate yourself back to, because what you had was a really rough Christmas, with everything going on with the COVID, everybody getting COVID and everything like that. And you didn't sink. You swam. So Bravo. And so there's that small detail that you left out. That small detail, as in, you know, at the start of the program, you were like, I'm overwhelmed, thinking about giving up the job. So tell us, drum roll, please, what happened with the job in week, whatever it was? What happened?
When was it? In October. Yeah, so I got promoted in October, which I'd, you know, sort of before been thinking, oh gosh, you know, how do I next do up? How am I going to do that? Feeling like this, to then, you know, being, I suppose, more direct in both communicating with my manager and laying out, you know, what I'd achieved and asking for it, basically.
That's it. You know, that's it. So ladies, she went in there, she was a different woman and she asked for it. So, and I had to literally, you know, I mean, Molly didn't just come back into me with the Q&A and go, yeah, I got a promotion. No, I had to kind of eke it out of her. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I can see Kim going woohoo there in the chat. Yeah, and by the way, but for me, it was like, you know, this woman at the start couldn't find her handbag and she was like, what's the point? And maybe I should give up the job. And I always say to the women, you know, just stepping back is not the answer. Stepping back is just building you up for more resentment. So, Molly, what would you say to somebody struggling out there and thinking about booking a call and sitting on the fence? What will you be saying to them?
Do it. You won't regret it. If you put your all into it, you won't regret it. It's going to change your life for the better, basically.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. So you heard her. Do it. All right. So so for those of you interested, don't know what to do, blah blah, you can see here, this is the link here, how to book a call with me. You can book a call, we'll have a chat and we'll see where we'll take it from there. We will put this link at the end of this interview as well. We have run out of time. You know, Molly, I'm just got a hard stop at once. So thank you, everybody. Thank you ever so much. Molly, thank you. This has been a fantastic chat and let's keep in touch. Bye all.
Thank you.